He crossed the line in second place. He left the track in 29th. And now, nearly a week later, Bubba Wallace is finally telling the truth about what actually happened. And it's not the excuse everybody expected. Here's the situation in plain terms. Bubba Wallace got a last lap push from his own teammate, Gibbs, at Echo Park Speedway. That push helped him cross the finish line in second. But NASCAR didn't see a hero move. They saw a violation. Officials ruled Wallace dipped below the out-of-bounds line while he was gaining track position. A hard no under superspeedway rules. The penalty dropped him from a season-best second-place finish all the way down to 29th. 27 points gone just like that. And this weekend at North Wilkesboro, Wallace finally addressed it head-on. To understand why this penalty stings so much, you have to understand what was on the line. A top two finish at a super speedway is exactly the kind of result that changes a driver's playoff outlook, its momentum, its points cushion. It's the difference between racing with confidence down the stretch and racing with your back against the wall. Wallace and 23X Racing didn't just accept the penalty quietly. They sat down with NASCAR officials after the race to hash it out. That conversation matters because it tells you this wasn't a case of a team throwing up their hands. They wanted answers, and by Wallace's own account, they got them. What's most interesting is what he revealed about his own understanding of the rule. He assumed the violation was about gaining a position. NASCAR corrected him. It was about gaining track position, a much stricter standard. And by that definition, Wallace conceded he was clearly in violation. That's a rare moment. A driver publicly admitting the rule applied to him, even after losing 27 points because of it. Let's break down why this moment actually matters for the rest of the season. First, the strategic reality. NASCAR's super speedway boundary rules exist specifically to prevent late race chaos, cars diving below the line to force position changes at the most dangerous, highest speed moment of the race. Wallace's move, whether intentional or a byproduct of the push from Gibbs, is exactly the scenario the rule was written to eliminate. NASCAR wasn't going to look past it just because he gave the position back afterward. Officials made that distinction clear. Once the violation happens, returning the spot doesn't undo it. That's a precedent-setting stance, and every team in the garage just took notes. Second, the psychological angle. Wallace didn't come out swinging at NASCAR. He didn't call the penalty unfair. Instead, he took ownership, saying flat out that he put NASCAR in a position where they had no choice but to act. That's a calculated move. Public frustration can create tension with officials heading into the most important stretch of the season. Public accountability, on the other hand, keeps the relationship clean heading into the playoffs, when every judgment call NASCAR makes on the track could involve Wallace's own car again. Third, the championship math. Wallace currently sits 13th in points, still inside the provisional playoff, but with far less cushion than he'd have carried with that Atlanta finish intact. 6 regular season races remain. That's 6 chances to either build a real buffer or watch the margin shrink race by race. In a field this competitive, 27 points isn't a footnote. It's potentially the gap between locking into the playoffs comfortably and sweating out the final cutoff race. So is this smart or dangerous? Wallace's response is smart. Accepting the ruling, avoiding a drawn-out public fight with NASCAR, and refocusing on performance is the right move for team morale and outside perception. But the underlying risk hasn't gone away. If 23XY Racing keeps showing top-tier speed without closing the deal on race day, this penalty could end up being the moment fans point back to when the season hangs in the balance. The reaction has been split, and that split tells you everything about where NASCAR fandom stands right now. One side of the fan base is furious, arguing that a rule this technical shouldn't erase what looked like a clean, hard-fought finish. To them, this feels like NASCAR punishing aggressive racing, the exact thing fans pay to see. The other side backs the officiating completely. Rules on superspeedways exist for safety, not sentiment. If NASCAR starts making exceptions because a car gave the position back afterward, that opens the door to drivers pushing the boundary every single week, betting they can just correct course after the fact. Media analysts have leaned toward praising Wallace's response more than debating the call itself. In a sport where drivers regularly torch officials publicly, his measured, accountable tone stood out, and that's becoming its own storyline heading into the playoffs. So where does this go from here? 2 paths. Best case, 23XR Racing speed translates into results over these final 6 regular season races. Wallace builds a real points cushion, the Atlanta penalty becomes a minor footnote, and this whole controversy fades into the week Bubba handled adversity like a pro. Worst case, the margin stays tight. Every race becomes a nail-biter for playoff positioning, and if Wallace misses the cutoff by anything close to 27 points, this ruling becomes the defining storyline of his season, the moment that decided everything. Replayed on every highlight package for months, so here's the real question. Was NASCAR right to enforce the letter of the rule even after Wallace gave the position back, or did they punish a racer for racing hard? Drop your take in the comments. Are you Team Rulebook or Team Bubba? If you want more no-fluff breakdowns like this one, every angle, every implication, nothing sugar-coated, make sure you're subscribed because this playoff race is only getting tighter from here.